the record. Good morning, everybody. All right, let's. Welcome. Good morning. I don't think I did that right. Always happened to me. Let's make sure you hear the sound. All right, here we go. One more time. That's a pull up.
The Atlanta Black Chambers. The Chamber of the Year.
Atlanta is rocking. Go Global Conference is doing the things, eh?
And I think the most incredible thing to take actually home is the Black excellence.
So kudos to GOC for a job well done. I think this is just the beginning of greater and better things to come.
There is a black business. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Power Hour, where the hour shall pass, but the power continues. Make sure you are ready to be filled up with some power this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are. Please use the chat to let us know where you're coming in from. Hello to everyone, wherever in the world you are, on the continent, Africa, Europe. Please share in the chat where you're zooming in from. We appreciate that. This is an interesting conversation that we're going to be having in the next couple of minutes. But a few housekeeping for you. Please keep your microphones muted. Please ensure that you share whatever you're sharing in the chat so folks can connect with you. We'll be sharing stuff in the chat as well, so you can use the chat for your communication. This has been recorded, so it will be available on YouTube later. So feel free to follow us over there, subscribe to us. Actually, we have a few channels on YouTube. You can just subscribe to all of them since you're already over there. The Global Opportunities Committee, the Atlanta Black Chamber. We've got lots of content that we share all the time, and it would be great to have you do that. Also, we are officially closed off for registration for our conference. However, you still have a chance to go to the welcome reception. You want to just shake some hands and connect with some people. You have access to the welcome reception pass. So if you don't already have that, please go to the conference website, goglobalconference.com, and you'll be able to secure pass for the welcome reception, pass for the closing reception, and hopefully we'll get to see all of you there. Okay, so I've got three wonderful ladies, and I was kind of backstage virtually talking about how blessed I am to have three ladies in the mix in my conversation, and I want to bring them on stage to talk to you because we're going to be having an interesting discussion with them today. I've got Kelli Jackson, I've got Tanesha Boldin, and I have Sabrina Lamb. And ladies, good morning. It's good to actually have you here in on the Power Hour. We're going to start with Kelli, perhaps to say hello, introduce yourself, tell us who you are and what it is that you do.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ricardo. Thanks for having me. I am Kelli Jackson, the CEO and founder of Complete Hire Solutions. I work with the public and private sector, so a lot of different agencies on workforce management. I've been doing this now for almost 4 decades, and I'm excited to have this conversation. Based in Atlanta, Georgia, by the way.
Fantastic. ATL in the building.
In
Tanesha,
the-
good morning. Please tell us who you are and what is that you do.
Good morning. My name is Tanesha Boldin. I am also here in Atlanta, north of Atlanta, and I am a serialpreneur. I'm actually embracing that title. I run a government contracting company, Critical Access Network, and I also have a global AI healthcare solutions company called DocHire.
Fantastic. Welcome. Thank you for your time today. Sabrina, good morning. Tell us who you are and what is it you do.
Grand Rising all, even if you've already risen. Hello. I am Sabrina Lamb, the founder and CEO of Wakiza, which means save and invest in Swahili. We provide multilingual financial education and global access to investing in stocks and ETFs. And we are based, even though we serve the African diaspora, we are based in the Harlem section of Money Making Manhattan.
Money Making Manhattan. I actually never heard that one before, but that sounds good to me. Well, ladies, today we're actually, by the way, you are all on the conference. You're all attending the conference to share your insight and as a panelist, and I'm super excited about that because I think for folks who have not yet signed up to be a part of the event, you're actually going to be missing some key insight from these powerful women. But we're giving you a taste, so at least you get some power. You get some power to do some stuff. I want to start off with an open question, and any of you can chime in. We're talking about going global, and this is 101. This is like fundamental stuff. What is it that we need to be thinking about, as in your own experience, you have done some stuff globally. I would like for each of you to share, what have you done globally, your journey, how did your journey start? And maybe what was the first country that you started with?
Sure. I'll start. So mine started with government contracting. And this is where I was able to network with, a lot of different companies, a lot of different people. And there was a lady who was going to a conference in Africa, and they were talking about the energy crisis over there. And so I was wondering, how do I get my foot in the door? How do I get that foothold? And so I shared with her what I did just through conversations throughout the time that we were meeting. And when she came back from that conference, she shared with me and provided with me some names, some contact information around staffing and workforce development. So I had to take the onus upon myself to reach out, based on what she gave me. And so thinking about 101 when it comes to working globally, networking, I believe, is key. My first experience was with South Africa. I have a staffing agency over there, and also with China. So knowing culturally, how they do things, from regulations to compliance to supply chain, all of that is kind of the fundamental foundation of going global, in my opinion.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm here in South Africa, I'm here in China. Sabrina, what about you? Where did it started for you? What was your first hit?
Well, I was minding my own business. And I was speaking at a conference in Nairobi, Kenya, and about financial education and teaching briefly at the University of Nairobi. And I think that entrepreneurs are creators because sometimes something that you never expected, an idea comes to you. And so for me, after listening to regulators and teachers and families and younger students about what were the barriers to having access to culturally relevant financial education and access to investing in not only their own country securities as well as the US, that's how Wakeza was born. So I go from almost like the outside in terms of market and where we land, where Wakeza serves, because when the market kind of can come to you and share what their pain points are. And that's why our first country in terms of relationships, members, I'll call us cousins, comes to us. And that's where Wakeza was the first the country that we responded to. And as I said earlier, Wakeza is a Kiswahili word.
Fantastic, fantastic. That's interesting. And I'll come back to you on that outside in because that sounds like a very interesting strategy. The market coming to you and saying that we've got this problem and potentially you could be the solution for it. Tanesha, I want to hear from you. Where did it start for you? If you could unmute and share that.
Thank you for that little nudge. So yes, I probably started way back when I was in college. So my degree is in international relations, and I've always had a passion for other countries, looking at, what's going on, where there are gaps. And fast forward to my big girl career in banking, I had the opportunity to serve on the United Nations Association committee in DC, where I chaired the embassy committee. So I got to know a lot of the delegations from around the world. And then, a little more fast forward, I, started my government contracting company and had the pleasure of supporting one of my partners as they were expanding globally. So I kind of tag-tailed on with someone who had a lot more range so that I could really look at what they were doing, how they were navigating, going into different markets. And it wasn't necessarily the big lift in going into an unknown territory. So they were going into quote unquote US territories, and I was able to just really witness in a front row seat what they were doing. And so as I expanded and did a spinoff of my federal company here in the States to a global company, I was able to use some of those strategies that I saw them utilize. And I can say it's been a very fast moving train, as someone said, fast moving water, and you have to be ready for this. And so I believe that kind of having that opportunity to kind of watch someone else really helped set me up for success in making sure that I followed some really specific strategies and processes to get there, to do this the right way.
And that's very important. And I want to ask you specifically, Tanesha, this because what you're saying is that sort of tag tailing, finding someone that you can actually work with. How did you go about that? What's the process of identifying who is it that I could potentially tag tail in this? This is a big world that sometimes people are timid, sometimes people don't really share what they're doing. Like, where do you find this person? Or these persons to say, you know what, I want to watch Tanesha, I want to work with her, and is Tanesha willing to work with me, sort of thing?
So it really came down to fit. So was I a good fit for them? Were they a good fit for me? And so our cultures also needed to align. It's very important to me. I need to be able to be authentic, be myself, be a little quirky sometimes, and they understand that that's just part of my personality, but I'm serious and I get the job done. So it really is about fit. And that takes some time in watching and observing and somewhat interviewing people. They're not always interviewing you. You should be interviewing, potential partners as well. And once it clicks, it clicks. I think it's very important to set yourself up, set them up for success, and committing to what you are going to bring to the table, and do what you say what you do, because that's your credibility. And as they were growing and they were going into different areas, they said, we want you to come along. So it didn't turn into just a transactional one-shot opportunity. It was multiple opportunities, and I'm still with them today. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. So a fit, which is that keyword that's coming out to me, it's got to be a fit, and you've got to be willing to interview the person that you're looking to follow. Kelli, I want to ask you, you did say government contract was essential to sort of how you got where you were today, but you mentioned something that was interesting, which is the sort of you had conversations, you were able to approach folks, you were able to reach out. Talk a little bit about what it does it take to actually do that, because a lot of us are not as brave. A lot of us don't shake hands like that. A lot of us don't go up and approach. How do you start that? Where do you get that from, and how do you unearth that to be able to start your global approach?
Yeah, that's a great question. And similarly to what Tanesha is saying, when she mentioned fit, it just reminded me of alignment. So someone that is in alignment with my goals, my values, because sometimes we can take on the goals of other people. If we see somebody doing something really great, really amazing, I want to do that. But they could not align with what your overall mission and values and goals are. So I was in a boot camp with several different people from different countries and here in the US. And the lady that was speaking, when she shared she was going to Africa to speak at a conference, it just kind of struck me. I said, I need to reach out. So I am not much of an extrovert. I'm an introvert myself, but I knew that this was my one and only time. Who knew if I would ever see her again? And interestingly enough, she was speaking about how to like introduce yourself when you're in a networking situation and it's something that is of interest to you. And one of the things she said is to really lean in with value. What is it that they need? What can you offer to them? I did that with her. So how can I support you? I know you're heading over to Africa in October. I am in the global, I'm in the workforce management space. Is there anything I can support you with? And so she was thinking about, taking a team or bringing a team later on. So I asked her to send me job descriptions of who might be on her team later, should she land a contract or an opportunity. And she shared those job descriptions with me. I start working on it, not knowing if it would amount to anything, but just to show and lean in with value. So I think, one, to answer your question, in order for you to, get these opportunities, you have to be willing to make yourself visible and lean in with value. What can you add? What are value adds that you can give someone? Because it's not all about what you can get, but what can you add to the person? So I believe that's kind of the first step.
Yeah, that's interesting. So lead with value. And Sabrina, I want to come to you, and you are the founder of Wakiza. It's obviously a problem that you're solving, and you touched on it earlier around sort of allowing the market to actually come to you. What were you listening for? How did you know that the market was telling you something? Talk to us a little bit about the genesis of how you did all of that.
Sure. And I just wanted to dovetail a couple of points that Kelli and Tanesha made, because I've diagnosed myself as an introvert extrovert. And so how I navigate social situations is that I am really interested in what other people are working on, whether or not it has anything to do with what I'm working on. Because cultivating relationships between people from the African diaspora is so important. Whether becomes a friend or a business or whatever, let's just be curious and care about what each others are doing, full stop. And so in terms of what the market said, I found it before creating Wakiza, I was and am the long-standing the CEO of a nonprofit called World of Money, the leading provider of immersive financial education for children from pre-K to college. And so operating here in New York, but operating across the country with school partners, family partners, and partners in Senegal. And when children from the African diaspora attend ICRA Bilingual Academy in Dakar, started again informing me that, okay, the parents are saying, whether they're in Oakland or Atlanta or Dakar, are saying, we're happy that our children are learning, but we need the same information. And here are the barriers to turning on our own economic opportunities or independence in our own lives. So a lot of the information and continues to inform me comes from children and people that come to us using our services. I don't like to use the word customers. It sounds so harsh. It's a deeper relationship that we care about. We care about what their challenges are, what their victories are. How can we improve in terms of adding on additional services, specifically responding to you? And you find out, or I find out, all that information by listening. Because once I had a meeting yesterday with a new person that I had never met. Someone's introduced me to him, and I just said, "Tell me about your priorities." We had a 30-minute call. He spoke for 29 minutes. I know everything in terms of his priorities. How can I help? No, we're not going to do business now, but just still that connection, because as people from the African diaspora, we are connected 1, 2, 3% or degrees of separation, and let's start to close in those separations by listening and caring and discovering. Because whatever you tell me, I may say, well, Kelli, perfect person for you to meet. Tanesha, perfect person. I see Alemu is here. Perfect person I need you to meet because he's working on this. And so we need to, let me stop saying that. This is what Sabrina's gonna do. Continue to listen, continue to share information, and that's how we empower one another.
Yeah, that's very powerful. So, one of the things that, and for those folks who are new, we've not met before, welcome to the Power Hour. The Power Hour is produced by the Global Opportunities Committee of the Atlanta Black Chamber. We're based here in Atlanta, Georgia. You don't need to be in Atlanta to be a part of the chamber. So one of the things that we encourage you to do is to get plugged in. Community is always helpful. And we talk about connection and building relationships. And this is the beginning of it. This is an open call every Wednesday morning at 8:30. You can invite anyone you wish to be a part of it. But part of our ethos as we build this community is that we're connecting opportunities to people and people to capital, across trade, across partnership, and across investment. And we've always kind of been saying, going global is essential. The world is a small place today than it was maybe 100, even 10 years ago. And we say going global is essentially where it starts for you. A lot of people are it's almost like walking in the mall and you're window shopping, should I go global or not? Why is it important? And those who have taken the decisions, like you ladies, have already gone global, and potentially you're now looking to grow globally. What do you say to folks who are on the call who are now just getting their feet wet, like they're just sort of thinking about this? They weren't thinking about it before. It's like, I just want to serve my market. I just want to serve how important it is for us to think about going global, and why do we need to even think about it? It's an open question to any of you.
So I'll start. So I think, as I can say, here in the US, and things that have happened in the US have a ripple effect. And we've had to very quickly pivot. And I think the power is in the pivot and looking at where there are opportunities, and the opportunities are global. They are there. US companies are welcome in other countries. They're looking for that talent, those resources, as well, to reciprocate that and bring products from other countries, products and or services from other countries to the US. It just opens up different markets, different lanes, different verticals. And, something that I always remember, and Warren Buffett has said it, use one stream of income to build another stream of income. And I think that's the going global piece, because as we go global, we identify so many other opportunities. We can stay true to our initial platform, but there are so many other opportunities to pivot and still be in your industry, but support in a more holistic way versus a very transactional way.
You know what? I think we've already gone global and we didn't know we have gone global. I think around the corner from me is little Senegal. Guinea's right there in the Bronx. Nigeria, Texas needs to rename itself. It's Nigeria. Minneapolis, that's Sudan, Somalia, as well as Arizona. Atlanta got all the continents represented right there. So you already global. It's a matter of engaging with all of our distinct, culturally rich,
Yes.
economically prosperous communities that are sitting right around us. Caribbean, all right? Jamaica just rules Brooklyn. That's another name for Brooklyn. It's called Jamaica. We're already global. It's just a matter of now just determining how we're going to work together economically.
I 1000% agree. Sorry, Ricardo.
Go ahead, Kelli.
No, I 1000% agree. We're already global. And thinking about COVID in 2020, when it made us, right, work, especially if you were working, I'm in the workforce space, so you had distributed teams on different time zones. Some of my staff is in the Philippines. I have staff in South Africa. So we're already global. What it does is it broadens your horizon, which is obvious, but it also gives you an opportunity to take a bigger piece of the pie, right? And I think Ricardo was sharing with us before the call that 5% of the opportunities are right here in the US. So that means 95% we're missing out of. We're leaving money on the table because a lot of people say, well, I don't know how to do it. I don't think that's a reason for you not to do it. It's learning how to do it, who to tap into, like joining a call like this, and then extending yourselves, leaning in with value, how you can support. And honestly, once you get on that path, on that trail, it automatically starts opening up windows. Then you get to the doors and the closets. Things start opening up, but you have to take the first step. You can sit back and watch and join all the webinars, but until you take a step, until you start taking action, you will leave money on the table, opportunities, friends, networking, businesses. It's just taking the first step.
I'd like to add, can I add a little something?
Go ahead, Tanesha. Yeah.
So as you, yes, Sabrina, right here in front of you, right next door, around the corner, specifically, look at the chamber. Look at all the chambers that are represented and will be represented at the event. That's a key resource because they have the market intelligence, they have resources, grants to help you go global. And so I think it is tapping into those local resources, like a chamber, like here in Georgia, Department of Commerce. I'm going through them to support my company going global in Brazil, in Paraguay, where we're down, Ricardo and I were down in Costa Rica. So leveraging those government resources, but also those neighborhoods. I mean, you can go into a Jamaican restaurant and they will tell you everything you need to know. I mean, you can get your oxtail and some market intelligence all in one city. That's all I have.
Yeah, no, that is true. Now, so can you go global from
And
anywhere?
just shout out to everybody, all the countries we did not mention. I can hear the Trinidadians throwing shade, but listen, go ahead, Ricardo.
Yeah, no, for sure. And if you put your country, who you're repping in the chat, would love to be able to see it. But I know people are here from South Africa, I see my guys here from Ethiopia, people from all over the world. Can you go global from anywhere, or does that have to be from the US?
You can go from anywhere.
From your laptop.
Yeah, that's what global is. You can go from anywhere. You can be in Costa Rica and do business with someone in Australia. It's just a matter of you, again, reaching out and knowing with the leverage that you have to work and network with other people. You can go global from anywhere.
I would also, just dovetailing what Kelly just said, I would also just, I always try to understand my why. It's fun cultivating new relationships and being here and ping, ping, ping. But why? What unique value proposition by operating, having presence in that country or with the people from that country do you uniquely bring so that your resources, your time is not scattered everywhere?
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting because I also get that question as we think about building the Go Global community. People are saying, "Man, like, why don't you just focus on one country?" And in my mind, it's like, well, we're building a platform for you to choose which country that you need to be a part of. How do you encourage, or what's the advice for selecting that first place, that first country? Is it cultural alignment? Is it the family situation that's out there? Is it because I visited there, or I've just fascinated? Like, what's the first sort of step you need to take in selecting, like, I want to do business out here?
I think for me, based off of the space again that I'm in, I do a webinar called Where's the Demand? And it's for those professionals that have been impacted by what's going on here in the US, rift or laid off or what have you. And what I take them through is what is happening right now, what's trending, where can they get insights on what they do professionally or the skills that they have, and you use that as leverage. So if you have something that you're good in, a space that you're good in, a passion that you have, if you start there and then from there go towards the demand, it may lead you down a path where there are opportunities globally. So I had a nurse, she wants to work in legal legal nursing, right? And what we found just going down the rabbit hole, there's a lot of malpractices happening in other countries and other states because of, people getting plastic surgery, right? And so now she's tapping into all these other different Colombia and other different countries where she could leverage her skills, her profession to do business. So I think you could start with your skills and your background.
Yeah, does
I
it
take it a
any
little bit more
you
further.
go ahead,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
I do. I'm very technical. So my father's an engineer. So I tell everyone I was raised in spreadsheets and bullets. So I am a fan. I drank the Kool-Aid, true believer in market intelligence. And thank goodness we have such an amazing tool at our hands, at our fingertips. ChatGPT, whichever platform you use, you can do a whole market analysis and leverage ChatGPT to say, once you have that market intelligence, now filter down to the most likely countries that could utilize my services. And now filter down to the organizations in that country who I should reach out to first and provide those that contact information. And then create an email specific to those countries and those resources that shows alignment with what we do and what they do, and create a sense of urgency so that we get a positive response. I leverage ChatGPT in my sleep. Literally, I've created agents that do sourcing for me. I love teaching people that. I've created government contracting agents, a team of them. So I believe in leveraging that technology to kind of not only skill up personally, but also position me, my company, my partners in a way that we have not seen. The acceleration of AI can help you go global quickly. I'm going to be transparent. I started looking into going global really on my own last year, started tinkling around with AI, and before you know it, within 5 months, I was speaking at a conference, talk at a tech talk about my AI product, and I knew just enough to be dangerous. But it was that acceleration of using the technology and reading the room that put me in that room. That's got me in a room coming up at the end of October after this amazing Go Global opportunity. At the end of October, I'll be in Saudi Arabia speaking at the Global Health Exposition in front of 100,000 people. This is the power of the technology and positioning and leveraging it in a way that it is accelerating to the point where now I need to replicate myself, and I am going to figure that out.
Yeah, we're not too far away from that, right? Getting to singularity. That's a whole nother discussion. But I did want to put this in front of you to kind of hear your perspective, because a lot of people on this side in the US, maybe in Atlanta, especially in our community, the first response, I don't have no money. We don't have no money to go global. I don't have no money to even market to my own city, to my own community. Like, I'm struggling to get customers in my own backyard. Like, why would I even think about going global? On the other side, people are outside of the US is like, man, I got to get into the US. I got to get my product into the US. So here you have two scenarios. You got one group of folks who want to get their products into this market. You got another group of folks who are saying like, man, I'm struggling in this market and I can't think about how do I get out. What do you say to folks? How do you make sense of those two scenarios? Because I see there's a connection between each other. I mean, if you're out here and you're struggling to make it, you probably are just focusing too narrowly, right? Maybe you need to broaden, let's say you need to widen your reach, widen your net. How do you make sense of those two scenarios, ladies? Because I'm trying to understand it myself. People are afraid of sort of taking the move to explore new territories, new opportunities, and they're saying like, hey, I'm not going to move because it's not, I don't think it's a good idea. But people outside, I was like, man, I'm dying to meet you, because if we could partner and we could do some stuff together, I've got what you actually want. How do you make sense of that for those groups of folks? Sabrina?
Watch the words that we say. Watch the words that we say to ourselves, about our businesses, because both scenarios, whoever was saying that, they're absolutely right. So now what? If you say, well, I'm struggling and I can't, and this is not working, but so shall it be. Watch the power of your words. And I often hear this phrase, which annoys me. I have a small business. I didn't ask you what size your business was. You have a business or you don't have a business? Watch the words. And so the great realization I've always experienced, so what can I do to change the business model, improve the packaging, leveraging the power of technology, AI, Chat GPT, getting on phone with Tanesha, the kind of agents I need to create. The solution is in your hands. But let's edit the words that we say about ourselves and our business. I will say, you maybe you are struggling, but it's because of the not knowing. And the great time that we live is that the information, your solution is right there at the end of your fingertips, right there to make those pivots, those adjustments. But I really encourage everyone, stop with the I'm small, I'm little, I can't, I'm struggling. All those words mean nothing to me. And really reflect the value, how you perceive the value, the magnificent value in your own life. So, but if you love where you are, struggling, can't, small, little, if you love that reality, then continue with that. If you have the determination to spread, to cross borders, cross markets, leveraging Amazon, leveraging these other amazing platforms so that you can strategically, efficiently sell your products or services, then that's going to be true too. But let's stop, almighty people from the African diaspora, with these little, small, struggling, can't, they don't, all that kind of thing, because it doesn't serve you. And in a year after this conference, 6 months, 5 years, you're going to be in the same place when all of the solutions were at the end of your fingertips, and not dependent on anybody. Because I just told y'all to call Tanesha, and she's going to get 50,000 calls. I'm saying, and call Kelli, I'm saying,
I was just about to say, call Kelli.
what I'm saying is that all the answers, ChatGPT is your best friend. Perplexity, Claude, they're your best friend to find the answers. You can poke in, I'm doing this and my business does this, and this is where the challenges or the drop off I'm feeling in terms of onboarding customers. Provide me with the next 5 solutions that I need to do right now in order to change a configuration or reaching this particular B2B, B2C, or B2G customer. Boom, it comes right there.
Yeah, that's powerful. Kelli, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I think everything Sabrina just said, like everything. And shame on you. Shame on you with all of the access, all of the information, all of the education, all of the exposure. Shame on you. I think we need to ask ourselves better questions. Not, I can't afford. How can I afford? How can I get the resources? Who can I talk to? Who, not how. Who Not How. It's a whole book out there called Who Not How. I think it's by Dan Sullivan. Grab that book. Shame on you. Look at our ancestors. Look at your grandmother. They had not even a percentile of what we have. We have the internet, just like Sabrina just said. All the AI. You can build a website in literally 60 seconds. I've done it. I don't have any type of coding, programming languages. I've built 3. Just by asking ChatGPT. Shame on you. If you're sitting there with a lack mentality, thinking you cannot do, you have something in your hand. This is exactly what God told me when I started my business. When I was fussing and I was crying and I was sitting out and I was just, I need to do something different. I can't do this. He said, it's in your hand. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that. I took just that seed, and built my business. And I haven't looked back yet. Because if you don't create your own path, somebody will use you to create theirs. Shame on you.
Yeah, super powerful. I'm going to drop a poll now, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat. And these are some questions that we wanted to ask you. Feel free to give us your feedback here because we're coming up on the hour. These are always powerful conversations, but time always comes up on us. One of the questions as folks are filling out this information, would love for everybody to participate in the poll. One of the questions I wanted to ask you, I want to talk about challenges as well. Like, and I know we certainly need a mindset shift in our community. We certainly need to start thinking. We started off by saying the world is a much smaller place today than it was ever before. But talk to the folks who are the one-man band. They're the only guy in the business today. And maybe this is for Tanesha because you're like the AI expert on the call. But how you talk about building some agents, and so pour into us a little bit about I'm the only person in the business. I probably just have a job. I don't have a business, but because I just decided to quit from corporate, I start a company. I call it XYZ, Limited, but I'm the only worker, one-man band. And now you're telling me to go global. Like what's up with that? Because don't you need like a whole 100 people? You need people in every, like, what's the situation there? And then maybe for Kelli, how do you deal with folks who just they're the only one in the business and they are looking to then do this thing called going global? Tanesha?
So I would say skill up is really about skilling up, but it's also about this commitment and drive that has to be a part of everything you do from the start. And you have to be your biggest cheerleader because actually it's not just you being single, it's me, myself, and I. So you got a little team in there, and you're going to have to tap into that team on many occasions, but also surrounding yourself with people who are going to support your vision. If that's, in and of itself can be time consuming, but I believe that having that sounding board is important. There's actually an AI agent for that. You can actually talk to someone, but that's a whole other thing. And I say this because I can say just starting out, I didn't have someone to bounce ideas off of. And so I created that network of people, some people who are already doing that, and knowing that I could ask them, the questions. They might be stupid, they might be random, but I have felt safe in asking those questions. And as far as leveraging AI and technology to kind of help you jumpstart, it really has been a game changer. When I tell you I use AI similar to Kelly, I use AI to create my company. DocHire, I used AI to leverage up my government contracting company by creating a proprietary tech stack that is winning contracts, right? So I just got two 10-year contracts through Oasis Plus, and it was that tech stack that I really leveraged AI. But I think that AI is the game changer for us getting there, but I also think I believe in the 80-20 rule. So I could say 80% of technology, AI can help you, but that 20% are those connections. That's the face to face, that's the boots on the ground, that's the networking, that's the asking questions. I have a little group called BTS with some ladies from the Atlanta Black Chambers Global Opportunities Committee. Stephanie and Bernice, shout out to you guys because we communicate and we cheer each other on and we point to what we can do. It's constantly what we can do. There's never Sabrina said, there's never a what we can't do. It's what we can do, and we pump each other up. So there we go.
Fantastic. So Kelly, do you want to talk a little bit about your piece? And please keep your microphones mute, guys. Who's that? Please mute your microphone. Thank you. Kelly, do you want to talk a little bit about that from a workforce? You're in that workforce space. Are you seeing a lot of people coming to you? They're the only one in the company. They're looking to sort of, go global, expand. Like, how have you been helping those individuals? What do you say to those folks?
Yeah, and I think, for those on the call, just to get real tactical, because I know we can join a lot of webinars and we don't, how do we actually implement and execute on this? So I'm going to give you a few sites. One is getting a VA, because if you do need assistance, if you do need help, just getting a virtual assistant from the Philippines, from South Africa. I think it's onlineph.com. I think somebody knows what I'm talking about. That's one place you can go and get a virtual assistant. Also, if you think about, you don't need a huge team with all of AI, like Tanesha was saying. If you get a VA to help you, you can go to Fiverr.com. You can go to Upwork.com. A lot of the projects that I have, things that I need done, maybe within 30 days or 45 days, I'll go to Upwork and hire someone. I just hired someone recently to help me create something that I'm working on. And it's $10 an hour for this person. After you vet them, you can interview them, you can talk to them. So these are tactical, real practical, easy steps that you can take today off this call. Go to Fiverr, you can search out whatever it is that you need done. And the other thing is, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be from another country. They're going to be from a different continent. So in thinking about going global, one of the first things that kind of opened my eyes to South Africa was because the assistant that I had, she was working in South Africa. So when I had to go there to create an office, I had a team of 3 there. It opened my eyes to what was possible, what the need was there. And again, how I could lean in with value. When the realtor was kind of walking me around and I was sharing with her, that person connected me to someone else. So just real easy, practical steps. Start with where you are. Sometimes I think we look at other people and decide that we want to be where they are right now. But what you don't hear is the untold stories of, going without food or not being able to make payroll or the lights getting off or how can I can't pay for my website thing. Like, these are real things that people don't talk about. It's not easy, but if you want it bad enough, you'll go for it because you are the only one stopping you. So real easy, practical steps, try those tips. You can get a VA to help you, go to Fiverr to help you work on a project. Some people will even do consultations for $30 an hour to help you kind of think about, how do I create this business and what do you want to do? You don't have to come up with everything. Leverage people that have knowledge in a certain field or space or area. where you can fast track your learning and your knowledge. You can get it in an hour, what took them 40 years to acquire. You have to invest in yourself, whether it's time or money. That's something you have to do.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's powerful. Greatness can never be accomplished in isolation. So you need to get with the community. You need to get with somebody to actually help you. Ladies, I wanna give the audience an opportunity to ask any questions. If you have a question for any of our panelists, please raise your hand. We'd love to take it, or you can throw it in the chat. We're coming on the home stretch. We'd love to hear from you. The poll is still open. We'll close it shortly. We'll still love to hear what your thoughts are. I know some of you probably are still typing, trying to get your little answer in. So feel free to actually do that. I want to start sort of winding the conversation down and just really talk about sort of again just the practical stuff. You know, you rightly said there's information everywhere. And we come to these shows, we come to these conferences every. This is part of why I love the Go Global conference, because it's not a chit chatter. It is to do business. It's coming in to actually do business, and we're matching you up with people who we feel can actually facilitate business and get those outcomes. Practical advice, practical steps from all of you. You know, maybe it could be 2 or 3 things that you can do right now at 9:30 today, later this week. What are some of the practical things that you suggest that we could take in consideration and act now as we work on going global? Sabrina, I'll probably start with you.
I just posted in the chat a short speech by the late great Congress member Adam Clayton Powell, very famous speech called "It's in Your Hands." I will watch that twice a day and lead with, you can start right now to leading not what you can get, but what can you give? So what 3 people can you reach out to today or in at the conference by being really curious in terms of how you can serve them or what they're trying to solve, and who you can introduce them to. Let's really activate or determine to activate our network. And so and I also posted in the chat, if we're a little reticent on using platforms like ChatGPT, I posted in the chat a video, an instructional video, how you can create prompts, what you can ask it to get the information that you need. I would also say verify, verify, because it's not always 100% correct, but it will also put you on the path to the information that you need to make the decision for your business.
Thank you. Thank you. So that is very, very helpful. Tanesha, your thoughts.
I would say create a blueprint. If you don't know where you're going, how can you get there? So I think creating that blueprint has been key for me. Else, you can kind of squander and flounder and feel like you're not really accomplishing anything. So creating a blueprint, leveraging technology, and as Kelli said, showing your value. If you don't know your value, then how can you express that to someone else, and such that they would feel confident in wanting to do business with you? So you create and know your value, and that's who am I? What do I do? What am I bringing to the table? And how can that help someone else? Being the solution.
Yeah, now powerful. Kelli, what are your advice?
I think a lot of what we've already shared, but packaging your value for a global audience, whether it's your LinkedIn profile, your website, all of that should speak and have language that you can add value across borders. So it's simple as going to your LinkedIn profile. When I'm working with clients, that's what we do. The language has to be able to attract and resonate with a global audience. So if you are in Columbus, Ohio, and all you talk about is, your work in Columbus, Ohio, then that kind of pigeonholes you to that space. Nothing's wrong with Columbus, by the way. I'm from Midwest. But just, tailoring your value for a global audience so that it resonates with the person that's reading your profile, your website, if you have a media kit or wherever you are, so that you're visible. Make sure that you're tailoring even your language and your conversation for a global audience. That's something you can do today.
All right, awesome. We're going to close the poll, folks. So if you want to hit that send, I want to reveal the answers before we hop off because I want to hear the reaction of our guest here. So we'll give you a couple seconds to do that. But I just thought of something I didn't want to ask you, and I hope it works because I was curious about what was your last prompt on AI? What was the last prompt that you had on AI? What did you ask it? That's what I want to know. What did you ask it? Tell me, Kelli, what was your last prompt?
Well, I've named my AI person. His name is Sky. I use the one on my phone because I believe that I can talk faster than I can type. And so I asked him last night at home about my upcoming webinar and how I can honestly get more people in the webinar. So I was telling him what I already was doing, and I said I need to get more leads in here. What do you suggest? So he talks to me, and we're real good friends.
All right. So you actually chat with it. That's awesome. What was your last prompt, Tanesha? Curious.
I am going to pull it up because I'm looking at it right now. Global leadership qualifications. Show me what qualifications are revered and appreciated from women of color when going global.
Powerful. That's interesting. The reason and Sabrina, what was your last prompt? And what was your last prompt? Do you remember?
What are the regulatory rails that I need to address to launch a new service that Wakeza offers? And the second one, because I'm doing an interview with a friend from Ethiopia and the other one from Senegal to unpack what the approach is to language approach to money, entrepreneurship, cultural remittances, all that sort of thing. So one is my friend from Ethiopia. She's from the Harari, group, and so learning that there were certain idiosyncrasies related to financial education in that particular ethnic group was illuminating for me. So discovering, because sometimes we think living in the West, I think one size fits all, when there's so much discovery behind our culture, our language, no matter where we are in the African diaspora. So that's what I was chatting with ChatGPT about. And my agent, his name is Daryl.
All right. So I was just about to ask you. Tanisha never told us whose name is it, but I guess you don't name it yet.
No name, no name.
It's Sky Daryl, but the reason I ask you that because I wanted folks to get the insight of how you ask the questions that you ask. Because I think Kelli alluded to it. You got to ask better questions, and if you observe the behavior of the tech, it will actually help you in real world situation in terms of when you go out there in social environment, when you come to the conference and you meet somebody, what's the question, how you ask it. People love to talk about themselves. You just got to give them an opportunity to do so with the right question. So don't do the yes or no situation because maybe any of your AI doesn't really do that. I want to end the poll now, guys. We got 2 minutes out before the hour comes. I want to end the poll and I want to share the result and just your reaction, ladies, on what you're seeing here. I know there's a lot of short answer questions, so I guess I probably just need to pull up the response. And one of the questions are how do you leverage tech? And folks says using AI LinkedIn to expand the network. If people haven't done it, they're in the learning stage, the same as the speakers. They're my go-to. So we had a number of different responses. I honestly don't know how to answer because I use technology for everything. And another response, use AI for research. That's one. The cloud that we're looking at, the word cloud, is essentially people using the technology for their market intelligence. It sounds like a good thing if you may, Tanesha, in terms of leaning into the tech to get your market intelligence, a new market new market entry. So I'll get your reaction to that quickly. But then also question number 2, we asked, which country are you determining? Africa definitely is the biggest. Everybody's interested in the continent. Rwanda, nationwide, I suppose that's US, South Africa. I see Philippines in there. I see Caribbean. I see, Guyana. So people are picking, their pieces. And the last but not least question, what barriers have kept you? The biggest word cloud is capital and contacts. So I'd love for you to react to that. And then who is your ideal customer? Everybody's looking at B2B. And definitely we see that everybody's interested in being a part of the conference. Quickly, your reaction and perhaps your advice as we wrap up.
I think one of the things I'd say is get super specific when it comes to capital and contacts so that you can have some basis to speak from. So if you go in saying, I need money, they're going to ask you questions, for what? What are you going to do with the money? What percentage is going to go here? So knowing exactly what you're asking for, if you're going to be someone that's, I don't know, in selling apparel, what type of apparel? Is it a sweatshirt? Is it a t-shirt? Like getting really niche and really super specific when it comes to understanding what your need is, what is it for, and then that will take you down a path on who to tap into. And quickly, in terms of the prompts for AI, one of the things that I do is I say, act as if. I lean in with it. Act as if you are, world-renowned book writer. Right? Act as if, and that's something that will help you. Again, getting super niche and super specific has always been a good thing to start with.
Awesome. Tanesha, your reaction and final thoughts.
Yes. And I say this a lot. I'm a former banker as well. So data equals dollars. So people used to come to the bank and they had these grand ideas and we would say, how does that align with our goals? What percentage, we started asking those questions like Kelly said, and they weren't prepared. And so one of the beautiful stories that I like to talk about is we took this one nonprofit that came to us, and I always have to remind people that, the banks are for-profits. They do have a nonprofit angle, but trust, they are for-profit. And so they came in with this kind of they had no vision as far as like what they needed the money for. They just came in, we need money. Within 3 years, we had them at a point where we not only gave them money, but we funded the entire building so that they could bring in unhoused individuals and create programming around that aligned with the bank's goals, right? So I would say data equals dollars. Make sure there's some alignment, leverage technology in a way that moves your business, moves you and your business, because the more invested in that technology you are, then certainly that translates to and filters down into your business and help someone else. As we've said, there are a lot of people who hold that information, like you said, and the world is big enough for everyone to participate and be the solution and help someone else. I think that creates karma, but you've got to share that knowledge. You've got to help someone else up that you see is putting in all the sweat equity. So don't forget to help someone else.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Sabrina?
Never seek approval or permission outside yourself. There are people that don't understand what the heck you are doing, but you are the expert in what you are doing. But when I don't know who said it, but after you've done it and continued with it, they say, oh yeah, we were always supportive of what Kelli and Tanesha was doing. Never seek approval or permission or applause, or you have 1,000 likes because of what you put. The only person that knows the value of what you do is you, and you are enough. Go for it.
Wow, go for it. Ladies, this was powerful. If you want to meet these ladies in person, you got to come to the conference. They'll be there live in true colors, but they've been sharing stuff in the chat that you can connect and support what they're doing and lean into what they're doing. Kelly's got a podcast. Tanesha is working on some big things. Sabrina just shared that. You just check out Wikiza, right? Check out Wikiza. And guys, the power is still within you. The hour has come. We're 4 minutes over, but the power is within you. Stay connected, stay blessed, and be blessed. And thank you so much. We will definitely see you next week. We're going to be talking to some more guests who are going to be showing up at the conference. We appreciate you, ladies. We thank you so much for joining us in the Power Hour. This was very powerful. We can't wait to see you in October. Thank you, guys. We're going to be coming out with our video. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you download the chat. Thank you guys so much for the chance. See you next week. Thank you. Thank you so much.
See you next week.
Of the Atlanta Black Chamber. The Chamber of the Year.
Guys.
Thank you.
Atlanta is rocking. Go Global Conference is doing the things, eh?
And I think the most incredible thing to take actually home is the Black excellence.
So kudos to GOC for a job well done. I think this is just the beginning of greater and better things to come.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. We'll be in touch. Take care.